Now, let's explore the tumultuous world of Disney's Golden Girl, Rachel Zegler, and the complete disaster that is the live-action Snow White remake. Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, is at the heart of this disaster and is exhibiting extreme hypocrisy. He talks about taking Disney back to its origins 1 minute, and then he forces his agenda onto every endeavor as if that's the secret to rescuing their collapsing enterprise. Furthermore, Walt just hired a new diversity, equity, and inclusion DI supervisor, spending an astounding $200,000 annually to ensure that every movie in Disney's pipeline adheres to this philosophy. I mean, classic Bob Iger? Let's now concentrate on Snow White 2025, a movie that seems to be about to explode. To be honest, the reviewers haven't exactly been impressed by Rachel Zegler. She went into damage control mode as soon as people began to express their displeasure with the movie. It's like watching a real-time reality show, and you can't help but wonder how it will all work out. What are your thoughts on all of this? Does Disney want to improve, or is their strategy merely a last-ditch effort to remain relevant? Let's talk. She's out here accusing everyone who questions what Disney has been doing, which many families are doing by outright boycotting the film, and you can't blame them. She's in full blame mode. As we examine Rachel Zegler's contribution to reimagining this beloved tale, let's take time to examine the PR disaster that Disney has created with the impending live-action Snow White. Her apparent pride in having contributed to the creation of Snow White's new history is, to be honest, a little startling. Is it not unbelievable? She honestly seems to believe that everyone who doesn't agree with her in Disney's new vision is the true problem, not the dubious changes being implemented. These live-action remakes have Disney in a frenzy right now, and Snow White 2025 is no different. Zegler has adopted a somewhat strange approach rather than acknowledging that people are naturally angry with the way their favorite childhood stories are being changed. She asserted a claim she appears to wear with pride that the public's dissatisfaction stems from a lack of knowledge about contemporary female representations and the feminist empowerment movement as a whole. She is essentially calling everybody who criticizes this updated Snow White a sexist dinosaur who is mired in the past. Rachel? Zegler proudly mentioned her partnership with feminist filmmaker Greta Gerwig, which only serves to stoke the issue and add to the confusion. This is where it becomes even more crazy. Zegler had a significant role in radically altering Snow White's past. She proposed that Snow White's name came from her ability to endure a blizzard, and reportedly Gerwig was so impressed that they immediately included it in the screenplay. The true problem is that no one is interested in Snow White's tale of surviving a blizzard. The enduring ideas and endearing characters in the original tale are what make it so beloved by readers. These modifications seem hasty, superfluous, and, to be honest, insulting to the cherished original. Zegler, however, doesn't seem to understand. Rather, she believes that sexism and prejudice are the only causes of the criticism she is receiving. How aloof she is from her audience is astounding. Many fans are just fed up with seeing their beloved Disney characters change into something completely different. They seem to favor promoting a narrative that seems contrived and dishonest rather than developing tales that feel authentic and faithful to the spirit of the originals. There is so much more to it than Snow White's moniker or her winter survival story. Themes like courage, kindness, and resilience form the foundation of the narrative. Instead of being changed to something that seems out of step with the character's core, these timeless traits need to be respected in any adaptation. Fans of the animated Snow White recall the enthralling wonder of her narrative and her compassion, not some random reworking that appears to fit more into the rich storytelling heritage than a modern agenda. Zegler's strategy is in line with a wider Hollywood pattern in which remakes often include new elements that turn off the same public they are supposed to delight. This begs an intriguing question: should a narrative that has already endured the test of time be rewritten? The retelling of well-known stories with reverence and care is what fans seek, not a rewriting of history. Rather, it seems that Zegler and Disney are intensifying their revisionist strategies without taking into account what their audience wants. This situation is blatantly ironic. They risk alienating the same audience they want to appeal to in the process of modernizing and diversifying. Many viewers feel disregarded as if their viewpoints are irrelevant in light of what Zegler considers to be advancement. It raises the question of whether corporate motivations are driving these changes more so than genuine narrative. After all, is it an act of empowerment to redefine a character in ways that deviate too far from the original story? To be honest, Disney has had a checkered record when it comes to live-action adaptations. While some movies have garnered positive reviews, others have come under fire for not paying enough attention to the original work. The stakes are especially high with Snow White, and the discontent among the fans is evident. Instead of a reworking that would alienate loyal fans, this iconic heroine needs a representation that honors her heritage. Disney has to listen carefully to what the public has to say as Snow White 2025 draws near. Reimagining a story and completely losing its soul are two very different things. Zegler and the film's crew must embrace the core components that first made Snow White a classic if they are to produce anything significant. In the end, the difficulty is striking a balance between the timeless elements that give these tales their resonance with modern issues. The core of what makes these people interesting should not be lost in a haphazard remake that fans must put up with. Fans are passionate about the tales they grew up enjoying, and Disney has to understand that they are more than simply sentimental. By recognizing this, they might produce a live-action Snow White that respects history while yet appealing to viewers today. In term for promoting a cause. Oh, and if you thought things couldn't get much worse, drama has already begun. Tensions between Zegler and Gadot, who portrays the Wicked Queen, are apparently at an all-time high on set, with both personal and professional problems brewing. In addition to the astounding $300 million Disney has already invested in this mediocre film, let's talk about the reshoot scheduled for December. They are now even thinking about spending an extra $25 million to attempt to save it. Do you think that's possible? It's difficult to comprehend. The true kicker, though, families that refuse to see the movie because they believe it supports a certain ideology are being singled out by Rachel Zegler, who continues to blame the whole population. Rachel, this isn't a fairy tale? Diversity, equality, and inclusion (DI) is now Disney's top priority, more important than the tale itself, as Bob Iger himself has said. Do you recall the leaked Zoom conversation from a year ago when Disney officials spoke about including a certain amount of feminist and LGBTQ material in every film? That was their real strategy, not simply some crazy conspiracy notion. Zegler, however, won't acknowledge any of this. She is instead stepping up her efforts, adamantly asserting that she is the face of Snow White and brushing off the criticism as sexist noise. It seems as if she thinks Snow White is the savior the world has been waiting for to guide us toward the light, and that this movie will serve as a beacon of hope for women worldwide in 2024. To be honest, I have no idea what universe she lives in. But it is unquestionably different from the one that we all inhabit. Ultimately, it seems that this film will be an even worse failure than Disney's previous failures, such as The Acolyte. You would think that Disney would learn from its recent financial missteps. However, they're moving on with this insanity at full speed. The boycotts will only become more intense if they continue in this manner. You may continue to blame the public all you want, Rachel, but the truth is that no one is purchasing what you and Disney are offering.